What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Sugarfreetp here in the building, and we got Pokemon Infinite Fusion. I'm gonna do a hardcore nuzlocke of this on hard mode because we gotta go all hard. Pause. Let's get right on into this. Guys, I am so excited for what we have going on today with Infinite Fusion. We're gonna give ourselves a name. We're gonna go ahead and get all of our information and things that we want done for the playthrough. We'll do a hard difficulty, normal type of game, and we'll change the starters. I would like to see Hoenn starters, for that is the way that I would like to play through. Also, who wouldn't want to see a Mudkip? So, we're gonna nickname a rival. He has a beautiful name, of course, and we're gonna continue on. So Professor Oak's gonna lead us up here, and I was not anticipating what's about to happen next. So I decided to go with, of course, the best starter there is, Mudkip. I'm not going to talk about Torchic. Torchic is also amazing, but we had to go with Mudkip. It just works so well for playthroughs. I'm going to name him Buffy, and he is going to go on a journey with us. Now, Gary, being the cheater that he is, decides to take both the Pokemon, and then he's going to fuse them. Now, future reference here, I thought, maybe I had a chance. Spoiler alert, Torco, I guess is how you say his name, was not going to let me get that W, okay? And I was so happy. I was like, okay, listen, 3-shot? No, okay. 1 more hit? No. Once he got the absorb, the next water gun didn't hit, and he absorbs again, and Buffy is down. Now, the hardcore Nuzlocke had not started yet, so I wasn't too concerned, but I could already tell what kind of difficulty this game is going to be. So, of course, Oak sends us out on our journey. As usual, I go ahead and check out Buffy's nature, and then we continue on. He's timid nature, which I guess is okay if we're using special, but that would really hurt later on. Let's see what we get for our first encounter. It's a Bidoof, nothing crazy. We go ahead and kill it just to get some experience because I already knew right away that this was going to be very challenging. So I'm going to try to do whatever it takes as I go along through the game to get as much experience as possible, just to be prepped for whatever battles may be ahead. We run into a Fletchling, which I was like, okay, this is actually a really good Pokemon, and hopefully later on, our first encounter would be a Fletchling, because Flying Fire type, even though with all of the weaknesses, it is such a good Pokemon to have instead of a Bidoof. I'm sorry to say it that way, but that's okay. So we'll grab an Oran Berry, and we are running into encounters like fairly often. One of the things that I noticed right away is how quickly we could actually get through some of these battles. And at this point, I tried to run away, and Buffy almost goes down. But luckily, with our level up and our experience, we were able to survive and not have to retrek going all the way up to the city. This was my first experience, and I have no clue as far as the depth of what kinds of Pokemon you can actually create. They said there was 175,000 different types of Pokemon. So we run into our first trainer here, just as an experience, just to see what she has for her first level, and it's a Senril. I was like, this thing is kind of adorable, and it ended up being really easy. So it was like, maybe I'm overestimating it. Is level 5. The leveling system seems to be okay as long as you can get kills pretty quickly. So I was like, maybe it's not gonna be that difficult. We return back on to Oak, and he gives us our orders to do what we're gonna do. He gives us Pokeball, and then he gives us the ability to fuse Pokemon together after giving us the Pokedex, of course. This is where he tells you there's 175,000 different types. We get 2 more Pokemon, and our journey begins. So my goal, my hope is to get something other than our first encounter here. And for our first encounter, we get Bidoof. Are you right? He was a pretty easy encounter. I just tackled him a couple times, threw a Pokeball, and that's all it took for him to be a part of the squad. And now you guys know Bidoof is literally legendary. So we had to name him God himself. Either which way, throwing him on the squad, he'll just be our emotional support as we trek along in the game. So we make it up into the Pokemon Center, get a heal up, and then I decide, I'm like, okay, I need to get more Pokemon for the squad just to see what we can come up with. I talked to this mailman here. He gives me a Pyukumuku. Now, one of the things that I did not mention for the hardcore Nuzlocke is that if I get gifted any Pokemon, I made this decision knowing that after I got a gifted Pokemon, I'm going to use them as a token, which we can freely use at any point in time in the game. So instead of keeping something that could potentially be broken, we'll use it as an extra encounter, just so that way it stays pretty much the same. And then we have our next trainer battle. And he has something that I think is absolutely cursed, a Ralba. Now, I was like, this thing should not be very strong, but it did a good chunk of damage at level 5. Has confusion, and more than anything, is quite ugly. And then they have a Buddinks, and I was like, okay, this isn't looking good. That's a grass and electric type. His absorb did so much damage, and I was hoping that I would be able to get the kill on the next hit. I don't, but he doesn't use absorb, so we make it through. These battles actually started to show me how dangerous it's going to start getting. So we make one quick trip. So we do one quick trip to the Pokemon Center, get a heal on. I go ahead and while I'm here, I deposit Pyukumuku. I'll release it once I catch a token Pokemon in its place. All right, Pyukumuku, you go ahead and you sit in that box there for me for a little bit, buddy. You will unfortunately be replaced. We get our next encounter. And I was hoping for anything good. Bonsly. Okay, let me just put it this way. I'm not a fan of Bonsly. I've never really been a fan of Bonsly, but we catch him. So we're going to put Bonsly on our squad. And you know what? Since he's going to come on the squad, I figured might as well give him a nickname. So Redwood is here to temporarily stay. So we go ahead and encounter the next trainer, for I know that I need to get some experience up. And we get this thing, a Mimoril. These combinations are hilarious, and I am scared to see what they come up with. And they get EP. You may like it. I personally think it's cursed, okay? If you want my honest opinion, it's cursed. So once we defeat this trainer here, I go ahead and grab some orange berries at the trees, for I know that this is going to be very vital later on, since I will not be using items in battle. I want to get my next encounter, so I'm going to go ahead and use my token. So I check out the grass, and what do you know? I get a Slugpee. Now, I actually really like this design. I don't even know how they came up with it. So Buffy here is going to take on all the weight, tackle it a few times, and then what we see right here, and this is what I wasn't expecting. This thing was so hard to catch. So much money literally being thrown out to this Slugpee. And I had noticed that it had pretty much done no damage at all, so I was kind of concerned until this point when it uses Smog that it didn't have an attacking move. We get poisoned, and I was just like, come on, please Slugpee, come to the squad. And he does. Gives a decent amount of experience, and being a fire and ground type isn't awful, it's not great. We give him a beautiful nickname in Fuego, and I recognize that it's about to get fun. Now, I was also scared. I think that in this game, that if you are poisoned and you run out of health, your Pokemon will faint, which will count as them dying. So I just decided, you know what? I'm going to use a potion just in case, because I do not want to lose any Pokemon due to me just traveling. Make it to the Pokemon Center. I can go ahead and release Pyukumuku. Goodbye. Have a good life. I hope you grow up and some beautiful trainer finds you, because I'm not the one. I get Fuego moved up front because I know it's time for me to go get my next encounter. And we finally make it to Route 2, and our Route 2 encounter is a Ladybug. We get Ladybug. So now, right now, I'm a little discouraged, to be honest with you. I remember the feelings. It was just like, of all the encounters that I could get, I'm getting Bidoof, Ladybug. All right. Is there anything else out here? So I decided to try to let Fuego, get a yawn in and try to do some damage. But Fuego is showing me how bad he does not want to live right now. And it's actually really sad. He's getting clapped by a Ladybug. So he gets poisoned by Smog. And I knew right away, it's like, okay, I need to switch. I need to try to catch this thing before it dies. I don't really want it, but if there's something that needs to die, it'll be Ladybug. It won't be anyone else. I'll keep Bonsly over Ladybug, all right? And I apologize for all of you Ladybug fans or Ledian fans who love the Pokemon. I truly, truly despise the Pokemon. So we go ahead and give him a nickname just in case he actually is something. We'll give him the name Knockout because he may give you them hands. Now we managed to make it down to the Pokemon Center. So we make it to the Viridian Forest. Finally, we get to pick up a couple poison mushrooms, grab ourselves an antidote, and we get our first encounter, which is Shroomish. Now honestly, this was a pretty easy encounter. There was nothing crazy. We just got to put him to sleep, tackle him probably, just hit him like once or twice, and easy catch. Welcome to the squad, Shroomish. I am glad you are here. You are very welcome. Actually, I love Shroomish. I love the evolution. He's just a really solid mod altogether and would really balance out the squad. So go ahead and give Shroomish the name Handy because hopefully later on, more hands will be thrown. So continue on through the Viridian Forest. Grab ourselves some more poison mushrooms. And then in our next random encounter battle, Fuego actually levels up to level 6 with learning Flail, which I was going to replace with Growl, and then learning Ember over Smog. I just generally hate Smog. It's not stab. I mean, he has a chance to poison, but it's really not that good. So we go ahead and grab ourselves a potion. We go ahead and battle the trainer. We need the experience. I would love to see what he has and hopefully something with a lot of experience. And we get this thing right here, Clefursa, which I believe is Cleffa and Teddiursa. He hit so hard, okay? He literally was smacking up Fuego. Woke up, tried to hit Sing, Ember, and then the flame body burn. So just in case I was slower, which I wasn't going to be, I think I would have lived. We get that 128 experience. Fuego is leveled up and the youngster is taken down. We get another random encounter in a Shroombat. I just wanted to show it because it was unique, kind of cursed, but Handy gave him the hands. It was easy going. Quick game. And then we get to encounter our next trainer in the Viridian Forest. The first Pokemon is a Shrooms. And I'm like, okay, I can't do Stun Spore. I can't paralyze it. So I try to just tackle, but I get confused from the confusion. So I'm like, okay, what is going to be able to take confusion? I know that Buffy can, as long as he doesn't use any grass type moves, it'll be okay. So I go for the tackle, doesn't do much, Stun Spore hits. And this is going to matter in the future. All right. Then he starts setting up Double Team. And I'm just like, there is no shot, right? Confusions, 2 confusions back to back. And I'm like, okay, all right, finally get it knocked out. And then here comes Spinously. And I was wondering what should I switch into, but there really wasn't anything good because it is still a rock type. So I tried to go into Fuego, hopefully trying to get something, but he has Absorb. And I realized that I was going to use an item and I forgot I can't use any items. So I decided to go back into Buffy. So avoiding that Absorb felt good, then low kick hit. And I was like, okay, Water Gun should one-shot. But he has Sturdy. And then Flail. And my starter is down. And at this point in time, I'm like, we might get swept by Spinously. But it's slow. Handy comes out, gets revenge for Buffy, and then there's Letty Chu. Now, I was really concerned about this thing. This thing was doing so much damage from Swift. We're both level 8, and Leech Seed is not doing enough damage. And I'm like, okay, maybe Absorb, I can get like more, maybe 2 health per. And it was only 1, so I was like, okay, I can't do that. So I decided to switch from using that to just going ahead and using Tackle. I probably should have used Stun Spore, but I knew that if I had wasted any time trying not to kill this thing, it might just sweep the whole team. So I finally take the Letty Chu out. And with great pain, Handy goes to level 9. And Darkness consumes. And then Paris decides to attack when I'm trying to get Mushroom, so get out of here. And I look and see Buffy's just lying on the ground. And it's so sad. We make our way back down to the Pokemon Center to wish our friend a good night in the dead box. And anyone who's lost a starter in a Nuzlocke knows how hard it is to recover from. So I look at the team and I decide we gotta make it or make it, no matter what happens.